Good morning. Welcome to KWFM podcast. In studio today, we've got your co-host myself, Tarren, and someone new that will be joining me is Taylor. Welcome, Taylor.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be working by your side today. It's my first time, so I'm a little bit nervous, but do you think I could introduce our guest speaker for the day?
Go ahead.
In studio today, we have Lebo, who is the MCA of the Market Centre in Edenvale.
Fantastic, thank you, and thank you for having me here. It's so awesome, such an awesome privilege, and also an honor to be part of this awesome initiative. Thank you for having me here.
That's good. Thank you so much for being here. We feel honored to have you here in studio today, getting to know you a little bit better and how you do things, which I think is going to be amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. So as the MCA, you are tasked with running the MC. Can you give us a deeper understanding on what it is that you do?
Collectively one cannot do this on his own. So the beauty about it, when you're running a market center, especially a market center that has well over 100 agents, you need a team. You need systems in place. You need to leverage all the assistance that's well within your reach. And of course, you need people around you. So in order for you to run that market center, you essentially need to incorporate all those aspects and make them one and make them work. And it's through systems. And those systems are managed and run by people. However, the market center administrator then oversees those systems and of course the people to ultimately then get the objective, which is profit at the end of the day. So As a team, collectively we grow and drive the market center and run the market center together.
Oh, nice.
What would you say is the best part of being an MCA?
The best part about it is that one gets to express his love for people by working with people as well. Leadership, in fact, is all about influence. And if you're in a position to influence people to do the right thing at the right time to get the best results positively, then it's a no-brainer, because then that means your job is going to be an exciting one because people are achieving what they set out to achieve. So you're helping people achieve what they want to achieve in order for you to also achieve what you need to achieve. That's the best part about it. Loving people and seeing them succeed and progress in everything that they do.
So this is almost like a passion for you.
Absolutely. See, without passion, it then becomes a stressful task.
Yes.
This is something that we normally share with our associates, that we wake up to come and work for them as leadership, and that's having a servant heart. So understanding that servant heart essentially makes my job a whole lot easier, because I get to understand that it's about bettering the next person, and when they're better, it comes back to you.
Nice.
And what do you need to become a successful MCA?
I'll take it back to passion, and I'll take it back to love, and I think a little bit of not a little bit, but a lot of trust in God, or faith in God, because you cannot function without Him taking care of you. And the beauty about it, again, our values is that God, family, and then business. So when you take care of the spirit man, everything else also becomes easier or unnecessary. So going back to your question, being a successful MCA, that passion and love for people, and knowing that God is your protector. Everything else is it's the byproduct of your belief.
Amen. Okay, so what inspired you to join KW?
What inspired me to join KW? I really didn't join KW as in I applied and said, hey, here's my CV, I'd like to join KW. I believe that God led me here. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. So going back again, God, family, and then business. That was in 2015, April, around about the 18th or the 19th. But on the 21st of April, it would be my 6th year with KW Clockwork. Around about the 18th, well, at the end of March in 2015, I'd gone to go and pay my rentals. I was renting a unit from KW Clockwork at that time, so I went to go make payment for my rentals, and Mr. Dion Trump, who's the operating principal, together with Diane Cross. At that time, Dion, he was the man at reception, in fact at his gate, and he attended to me. It was slightly after 6 p.m. So he came to the gate, and I'd said to him, look, I'm here to come and pay my rentals. And he gladly accepted the funds, shook his hand, he asked me who I was, and I introduced myself. And that was it, I left. And then 2-3 days later, prior to that, I'd rented that unit through Linda Trump. And 2-3 days later, I got a message from Linda, and she was finding out if I was interested in a position that would have come up, and if I may want to apply for it, because there's an opportunity to become, at that time we had admin assistants, so there was that opportunity of becoming an admin assistant, of which for me, I don't decline any opportunities for growth, so I saw that as an opportunity to grow, and my relationship, of course, with the Trump family was gradually growing, so I took it upon myself to submit my CV, of which I didn't really need to submit it, but for formalities it was done, and I got an interview a day later with Dion, and today I'm sitting here with you.
Oh, nice. So you actually started off in admin, as an admin assistant?
I started off as an admin assistant and also gradually rose through the ranks of the market center, and ultimately by God's grace one has become the market center administrator. I've been a market center administrator for 4 years now. With that opportunity that had come in as an admin assistant, growth took place through learning, and we're learning for earning's sake. A gentleman by the name of Justice Broderick, who was the MCA then and now is the MCA in Sandton. He was also somebody who was actively involved in my mentorship in becoming an MCA for the future. So I think having grown through those ranks, one got to understand each and every role that's within the market center. Although maybe one may not have stayed too long in that role, but one got to understand fully what's entailed in that role. And so should one need to perform any task in the market center, I can confidently say, given to me, I will actively execute that task, be it from the DFI. I would also want to tap into the OP's role as well.
Well, why not? If you put your mind to something, you can always get it done.
Absolutely.
Well done. Okay, so going on a little bit of the technology side, how can technology make your job easier?
Technology is what's running our era now. That's what's running our industries, most of our industries now. That's what's running our world now. For those who may be familiar with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right at the bottom it talks about the physiological needs of a human being. And of course one of those basic physiological needs being shelter. So first and foremost, getting it out the way, real estate agents will always be a need in the market, in the market or in the world, because people are constantly going to be looking for shelter. It's a basic need. But at the bottom now, I think it would be best if they also included Wi-Fi being a need as well. It is a basic human need, because now it seems as though when Wi-Fi is down, a lot of business doesn't happen. A lot of appointments don't take place. So technology has disrupted our market in such a way that everything is centered around technology. Now, when I started in 2015, already the concept of having tech-enabled agents was what we were garnering for in our market center. Till last year, when we then had COVID coming in, just at the end of March, those who had already prepared themselves technologically, the tech-enabled agent or the tech-enabled administrator, tech-enabled leader, they found themselves in a more advantageous position because they knew how to continue successfully running their businesses with the skills that had already been imparted in them, with the mindset change also that had taken place in the last couple of years. We all knew that technology was going to, take over the world in one way or the other. Preparation was essential. So technology right now is what's driving us. We just need to learn, unlearn, and consistently relearn the new things that are taking place within the technology sphere, and be that tech-enabled individual. Because at the end of the day, it's all about serving your clients and serving yourself as well with the tools that you have around you.
And it will also make life a lot easier.
A whole lot easier. It's all about making life easier now. I mean, compared to how we used to live 50, 60, 70 years ago and how we're living now, I think it's all about making life a whole lot easier. However, the disadvantage to that is the instant gratification aspect that many of our people or the society has become. So technology now is also going to be about who's efficient and effective in whatever they're executing, because now you're working against time and technology is coming. Well, we've been working against time. However, speed now is the new currency. So you essentially need to ensure that you know your tech and you put it into practice in order for you to accomplish whatever task or goals that you set for yourself.
That's good.
Get people educated in technology.
Yes, no, definitely. Thank you.
Do you believe technology will affect real estate in the future?
It has. And going back to my question, my response again, about 5-6 years ago, or even 10 years ago, that's when, technology started actively disrupting the market. I mean, if you go back and look at when Keller Williams started back in America, that then should give you a response as to when technology in fact started disrupting the market. The lag behind it getting to Africa, of course, there's always going to be that lag. However, we always need to catch up, and when you catch up, make sure that you also bring others with you, so that we all win together at the end of the day. It's a win-win or no deal situation at KW. So technology is a big, in fact, we are a technology company that happens to be in real estate. That's what I walked into the very first time I started working at KW. I got to understand that technology, in fact, was our main business, and we happen to be in real estate. So incorporating real estate and technology is essentially the equation that we operate with.
And what advice can you give associates with this new technology era?
Learn, unlearn the old habits, and relearn the future habits. Technology, those who are tech-enabled agents, COVID has been an awesome experience because we've gotten to understand how to survive, if I may put it that way, how to operate in the near future. If you were that agent who understood technology, who understood that everything around me is centered around speed, and everybody's got smartphones now. Everybody's about instant messaging. I spoke about instant gratification. So people want results instantaneously. And if you can do that using the tech around you, then you'd be the better agent compared to the other agent who would say is working using the analog method. So technology is all about being a digitalized individual, bring it together, and then get the best results out of it. I mean, looking at our real estate equation, it's all about appointments, it's all about listings taken, it's all about offers to purchase, and ultimately make a profit. Just like any other business, that the end goal is to make profit. But how are we going to get to that profit? What tools are we going to incorporate in order for us to get to that profit? And the tools that then we incorporate should be the tools that get us the appointments, the tools that get us the listings, the tools that make taking offers a whole lot easier than it was back then, and of course get to the profit much quicker or easier than it would have taken us prior to us being in this technology era.
And do you provide training for all those tools and
a lot of training? See, I believe in training. Education and real estate essentially are, I think these are the only real assets that you can ever have in the world. Education can never be taken away from you. Once it's in your mind, it can never be taken away from you unless otherwise. But if you learn something and you're continuously improving on that, then that skill or that knowledge that you have, turning it into wisdom, will then yield good results or good profits for you. Real estate as well, it's an asset that can never be taken away from you. So continuously seeking training in that field. Where can I invest? How can I get more properties? How can I better improve my services as an agent out there, or as an individual who's an investor? How can I get myself better knowledgeable in real estate and also in the technology space? So get the training material, study it, learn it, implement it, and see it work for you.
Okay, great. And what advice can you give to the associates to help them improve their business?
Advice that we give most of our associates is know your numbers and do the activities. Know your numbers and do the activities. And why am I saying know your numbers? We've got a CGI initiative within the market center, and CGI is the Career Growth Initiative. And the Career Growth Initiative solely looks at the 4 numbers that an individual or an agent needs to hit. And it's the GPS. We call it the GPS. That just gives you the goal that needs to be focused on, which is the profit goal. And then once we understand the profit goal, then we need to go and determine how many appointments an individual would need to go on, and how many listings that person or that agent would need to take in. How many contracts does the agent need to write in order for them to earn this X amount of profit that they've set for themselves? But that profit, remember, it doesn't come in without doing the activities. Now, any advice that would be given to a person would be take action. In whatever goal that you've set for yourself, take action for that goal. So if you know what numbers you need to hit, do the activities that you need to engage in order for you to then get the profit, and that profit will speak to your purpose. The purpose as to why you're existing. The purpose as to why you woke up, as to why you're doing what you do, solely is dependent on you taking action. That's my advice. Take action in the numbers that you need to be hitting.
Thank you. That's really, really good advice. Thank you for that. What are the most pressing challenges you face on a daily, and how do you overcome them?
Challenges are there to build an individual and make them better. So when you have a peak of queries coming in all at the same time, and I spoke about instant gratification, you have a whole lot of queries coming in at the same time that need your attention there and then, and they all need to be sorted out all at the same time. Now, how does one work with that particular incident or that particular scenario? It's always best to acknowledge the person who's bringing in the query, and when they bring it in, I write it down, and upon writing it down, I'll assure them that I'll attend to it as soon as possible. However, writing it down and making sure that whatever query has been brought to you, you're then able to handle it accordingly in a timely manner. Time blocking is one aspect that one has incorporated in his daily habits. With that time blocking, one then has an opportunity to free up a whole lot of time during the course of the day to attend to such emergencies that may take place during the course of the day. So first thing in the morning when one gets to the market center, I ensure that the first 2 or 3 hours of the morning, right up until about 11 a.m., all the big rocks that one needs to attend to as an MCA, and the MCA is one thing essentially is the company dollar or the company rand, ensuring that that company rand is brought into the market center. So one ensures that once that is out of the way, the rest of the day is then freed up to ensure that should anything that's urgent arise, it does not throw one off the course of the day. So it's essentially imperative for me to time block, and upon time blocking, then I know that any other emergency or challenges that take place, I have time to deal with them in an unstressed environment.
That's great.
If you could do something differently, what would you do and why?
Consistently grow my relationships with people. I believe interpersonal relations are what make an individual. In the African culture, there's the saying that umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, mutu ki mutu kabatu. You are who you are through the people around you. So my interpersonal relations with those around me, there's always room for improvement, because with those relationships being improved, then I know that everybody's then going to win. So relationships are imperative, and that's one thing I would focus more on, and that's actively building relations, be it with leadership, be it with the admin staff, be it with our agents, be it with our allied resource out there, but it's all about building relationships that are then going to be beneficial, being intentional in building relations.
How do you handle upset clients?
The beauty is that I've been a client as well. I am a client elsewhere. So I put myself in that client's position and say, if I were them, how would I want to be received? How would I want to be acknowledged? How would I want to be treated? So you treat people the way you want to be treated. And an upset client, as soon as they call in or they walk into our market center, best thing for me to do is to acknowledge and listen to them first. And you'll be amazed that many of us want to be listened to. Most of our frustrations come from or emanate from the fact that one was not listened to, or one feels that they were not listened to, and therefore they express their frustration. But if you acknowledge and listen to the individual who's bringing in that query, or the upset individual who's bringing in that query, and then actively acknowledge them or let them know that I've written down your query, and essentially I will attend to it as soon as possible, and it's only crossed out once the query has been sorted out. If it's not sorted out, then you do not cross it out, and you do not move on to other things. You ensure that that particular query or upset client who has come in, listen, acknowledge, write it down, and cross out the issue once it's been resolved. Find a place where you're going to get answers if you don't have the answers yourself. I don't have all the answers. However, I will channel the individual to the right place or the best place to get the correct answer that they need. So working together with whoever is concerned within that query is also one way of resolving that upset query that would have been brought in.
Thank you, that's a great initiative.
So how do you balance your work and your personal life?
Work and personal life, can I differentiate the two?
Yes.
I grew up in real estate. I'm a real estate baby. There were real estate investments within the family, so one has always understood the concept of what real estate is all about. Yes, I can differentiate the two, because now I'm doing real estate as a job and no longer as a calling, of which I still believe it's a calling. But work hard and play harder. That's my belief. So the more work I do, the harder I need to play. And so I am a basketball player. I enjoy basketball, and I enjoy swimming. So for me, essentially, the harder I work at work, during my spare time, basketball, especially when I'm shooting my 3-pointers, that's where I find my peace. And of course, traveling is also another play harder activity that I engage in. So all the effort that I put in my work, I put it in also when I play, and ensure that I'm balanced in both areas, and make sure that God, family, and then business, it's all taken care of in that sequence.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
As the MCA, you're tasked with running the MC. Can you give us a deeper understanding on what you do?
So the team leader grows the market center, and the market center administrator then runs the market center. In terms of running the market center, you're looking at managing the market center activities, and you're looking at your daily systems that you may have put in place. You have the market center staff that's around you. We've got, fortunately at KW Clockwork, we've got business building administrators within our market center. We've got the canvassing department. We've got the auctions department, various departments within our market center. So all those activities and systems need to be managed accordingly. And of course, you need to ensure that you've got a productivity specific environment. And a productivity specific environment is one where when an agent comes in, they're able to perform whatever tasks that they need to perform. They're also in a position to be the best versions of themselves in order for them to actively grow and run their businesses successfully. So ensuring that we create, implement and maintain retention systems is also another aspect that the Market Center Administration Department focuses on, because once the team leader has grown the Market Center, the MCA together with his administrative team, we then need to ensure that we've got retention systems in place that ensure that that agent does not leave us, or when they do leave us, we know that we have actively done all we can to ensure that we met that agent's need. And of course, then there's the financial reporting that an MCA has to do. We are in charge of the numbers of the market center. So the financial reporting needs to be done to both the operating principal, the team leader, as well as the productivity coach. So compiling those reports, the financial reports, which then they use to see what's happening within the market center. Numbers don't lie, so we ensure that the numbers are up to date and we're able to see what needs to take place in the market center. Where do we need to improve? Where do we need to continue focusing on? Those numbers essentially are prepared by the MCA and presented to leadership for consideration.
Sounds a little bit stressful.
Well, it's stressful if you're not enjoying what you do. But because I love what I do, and going back to that, I think real estate is my calling. I tend to go the extra mile because it's a calling, it's passion. It's ultimately once you help the next person achieve what they want to achieve, you achieve what you need to achieve.
What is your biggest achievement since you joined KW?
Had quite a number of achievements that have taken place. I mean, 6 years is a long time to not achieve many things. And by God's grace, an MCA, like I said, is solely concerned with the numbers of the market center. The company dollar essentially is the one thing that the MCA focuses on. So I think in the last year during COVID, we've done record numbers, record-shattering numbers, and I must say one was privileged and honored to be an MCA of such a market center that has, made enormous figures in terms of profit, and that's the objective of the business. So I think the numbers that one has managed to bring in or to grow by God's grace, that's a huge achievement for one. Like I said, an MCA is only as good as their numbers. That's the belief that's there. So I think that is an achievement. I hope I'm answering your question correctly.
No, yeah. Thank you.
Definitely.
What advice can you give someone who is looking to join the KW Clockwork?
Okay. The advice that you could give, see, our mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and ultimately have legacies worth leaving behind. So that's as part of the leadership team, or part of being with KW, is you identify yourself with the mission, you identify yourself with the values of the company, which is God, family, and then business. You identify yourself with the perspective of KW, how top producers think. So you identify yourself with the belief system, all that, and the culture as well of KW, all that, if it speaks to you as an individual who wants to run their business or grow their business successfully, if you identify yourself with the mission, the values, the belief system, the perspective, then KW is your home. If you don't identify with those, we would love to have a cup of coffee with you so that we could then expand on those belief systems and we find ourselves on common ground, so that we show you that in fact KW is your home and we're waiting for you to come and join us.
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks, Lebo.
Can you give us a bit more information about Mission Amber? We understand that it's to bring in 1 million by asking, but how are you driving the initiative?
Mission Amber, that's an awesome mission to be on. So this is the second mission that we're talking about. Our first mission is building careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and ultimately legacies worth leaving behind. Second mission is Mission Amber. Mission Amber is 1 million by asking every agent to bring in at least 1 million rands worth of business each month.
How did you come up with this?
I will then let you know that I think inspiration from God also is sometimes, it comes anytime. So at that time, one was forced to come up with, or to think outside of the box and come up with a different theme for the market center as to how we're going to actively grow our market center and run the market center and ensure that everybody is profitable. I spoke about the mission of having a business worth owning. Now, if your business is not profitable, then that's not a business that's worth owning. And if you're not making a profit in your business, then you don't have a career worth having. Now, profit is the end goal of our business. And if profit is the end goal, then encourage people to bring in offers of at least 1 million rands worth of business every month. We have millionaire real estate agents who are growing or who are in the making within our market center. So the word million then becomes the subjective word. That then becomes the word that we need to work with in our market center. Think 1 million, earn 1 million. That's the idea behind it. So 1 million by asking each agent to bring in 1 million rands worth of business. Ultimately, in an imagined market center, we will then see a market center where everybody is earning at least 1 million rands worth of GCI, and that's gross commission income. Let's start off with the contract written or the offer that's coming in. Put it at 1 million rands, you're going to earn. Ultimately, then we're going to get to where you're earning 1 million rands worth of profit in your business. Ultimately, that's the imagine. So out of an associate base of whatever number of agents you've got within your market center, ask each agent to bring in 1 million rands worth of business, and then you know that your market center is making a profit because everybody is selling. Everybody has a standard that they ascribe to.
And how do you motivate the agents just to bring in that 1 million?
So during our Monday morning sales meetings, I leverage that opportunity to actively drive Mission Amber, and also together with the staff and the BBAs and DFI, everybody understands the mission that we're on, because once we collectively drive that, then that means everybody as a team together everyone achieves more. So if we all collectively drive it using the leverage aspect, I leverage off the people around me in order for us to ensure that we touch our agents and we remind them of that mission in one way or the other, because when they make the money, we make the money, market center makes the money, everybody makes money.
Nice.
So when we collectively are on the same page in terms of what mission we're running, it becomes easy in order for in running or actively driving that mission. So it's driven through the people around one, and of course You constantly remind the agents as well via our technological platforms. That's through our WhatsApp communications platform. It's via emails. Whenever you communicate with an agent via email, whenever you have a conversation with them on the passage or on the corridor, when you have a one-on-one with the agents, you continuously bring that mission armor back to the conversation. And of course, CGI. I'd like to touch on the CGI and the progress chart. That's what one is actively focusing on. CGI is knowing the numbers that you need to hit, and the progress chart is showing us the activities that the agent or the individual needs to engage on in order for them to get these, to hit the profit that they need to hit. So you know your numbers via CGI, and you know what activities to engage in, track those activities, and then see what the numbers are telling you after a month, 2 or 3 months, because now you're starting to develop a pattern that shows you whether there's growth or there's no growth taking place.
Thank you.
Can you leave us with some advice that you think agents, buyers and sellers might be interested in hearing?
Real estate and education are the only real assets in this world that we live in. Repeat it again. Real estate and education are the only real assets in this world. So if you're thinking of investing, and I know a lot of people want to invest, many people are people who want to see their investments growing. Nobody wants to have a liability. Everybody wants to see growth taking place in themselves, personally, in their businesses, or in any other connection or anything that's connected to them. So if you're a real estate person or somebody who's interested in knowing more about real estate, get the education. That same education will not be taken away from you. And we are a training company and a technology company that happens to be in real estate. So like I said, real estate and education are the only real assets that can never be taken away from you. And we've got them here. This is the home you need to come to.
Thank you so much. Well, that's all that we have for today. So thank you so much, Lebo, for taking time out of your busy schedule and being here with us. It's absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me here. It was an honor and a privilege being here.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Perfect.
When do I stop?
Stop the Audacity first.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, stop.